Hello, I have here my Telecaster. It's a Fender made in Japan Telecaster from around 84 to 87. I have replaced the neck some years ago and I was very stupid of me and I regret that. Tried to get it back without no luck. But this is a Fender licensed replacement neck, so it's a good neck. I'm not quite happy with the finish on the back of it. I think I sanded it down at one time. I can't remember if it came like this or if I have sanded it down because it feels a bit, I don't know, it's just not that smooth that I would like it to be. So I'm planning to sand it a bit more down even and maybe treat it with some shellac. Something like that. Okay, it's the original pickups installed. One other stupid thing that I did with it, I replaced, this is really the original bridge plate for it. So it's a top loader, or it's the string, you string it from here, from the backside here. Probably from watching too many YouTube videos, I found out that I should make it a string through the body. And I drilled the holes, removed that bridge and got this bridge plate instead and drilled the holes and it ended up pretty ugly because I didn't have the correct tools to make it come out in a straight line. But it sounds good. I think I prefer the string through the body sound. I just watched another video where one person claims that this is the best bridge for your Telecaster. It's more about the break angle of the strings. When it's string through the body, it comes up like that and has a very steep angle before it hits the saddles here and the string goes over. With this string through, it has a much more easy way up to the bridge, to the saddles. And it gives a different feel also when you play. Maybe you have to fight this a bit more now with the strings going through the body like that. But there's one major thing that I would like to do with it now, and that is this common problem with Telecasters, this jack socket. It's loose, it's come loose. So there's some kind of plate that is stuck into the wood here and it's come loose probably. So what I could do, get a tool to get it out and turn it around 90 degrees to make it find new wood to be stuck to. But I have this instead that I probably will install now, and that is kind of socket that you just you screw it onto the jack input here, and you also fasten it with two screws to the wood here so it will sit tight. I think the action is a bit high on it, so I will probably adjust the action, check if it needs a truss rod adjustment and general TLC, I guess. We can listen to it as it is now because I think it's good and it's okay to play as well with this action, but I would try to get it even better. So I have this little loop prepared. All right, let's dig into the tasks ahead and see if we can get this even better, because it sounds good now and it is pretty okay to play as well. All right, let's see if we can get this one out. I think I need to start with taking out the control plate. there you go, 2. Should come right out, yes. Looks okay. So I'm pressing now with my finger to keep it steady, allowing me to undo the nut. So, well, it seemed I really managed to fasten it. I turned the whole thing into the wood. I could feel it. So maybe just a little, one more turn and it's sitting like it should. Okay, well. I don't know. I think I'll just keep it like that because I managed to just turn it and it probably the metal plate that's inside there got turned and dug into the wood again. So it will probably last for a while, so let it be. I can change that when it loosens again eventually. Okay, fine. One thing solved. We'll adjust the action now. 2 things that I will do is I will lower these, and before I do that, I will adjust the truss rod. It seems to me that it has so it's having this kind of curve, so I want to flatten it a bit more, so I need to tighten it. So, and the truss rod adjustment screw on this one is right underneath here, so I can reach it with a small screwdriver. So I'm hoping to avoid having to take off the pickguard, and because that means I will have to take off the strings, and yeah, it's a bit of a hassle. Yeah. This is something you'll never see a luthier do. It's just a lazy person that will do this. Probably ruining my picker as well, but that's just part of the rally process. Yeah, maybe. The action feels better. It appears to be lower now. I'm quite sure it is. So I just did not even a half turn on that truss rod. So that seemed to have done a bit, and then I have lowered this one a bit now, listening for it if it buzzes. So I can hear a slight buzz, so I bring it a bit up again. So the A string is buzzing a bit. Oh, hey. To me, it seems important that you are in tune when you are doing these adjustments. So if you are adjusting with the lower pull of the strings, I guess that won't be doing any good. So I'm good with the thick E string and A string, and then I'll move on to the D and G. When you lower it, of course, the string will go down in tone, so you need to adjust the tuning to get the pull to be the same. So it's fretting out now. So one. So I'm really just going up and down in height till I find the spot where it doesn't make a buzz. And for me, that is the perfect place, because then it's as low as I can have my action, and might have to adjust the pickup heights afterwards if I now go down with my action, so the strings are getting a bit too close to the pickups. See that the neck pickup is pretty high. Seems good. So last one. Well, I think I'll have to let it sit also for a day. So I'll check it again tomorrow and see if it's still okay. But it seems much better now. The action is looks very good all over the fretboard. It looks to me to be pretty good, and at least it's good enough for me. If it feels okay to play it, if it sounds okay, to me that's good. It's fab! Yeah, seriously, it felt really good to play now, and what more could you ask for? The pickup height. So what I do is I press down the strings at the end of the fretboard here, and that will give me an indication of the distance to the pickup when the strings are played here. So they can't be too close, then you will get these strange wolf tones, as it's called. So I have to screw left to take it down. And to my experience, the sound is often better when you have lowered the pickups a bit more than the recommendation. So I just go by ear and by what I see here now. I think it sounded much better. I'm going to take it up again just to see if I'm correct, because so it was approximately here. It has some kind of harshness now. So I'm going to take it down a bit again, and so by eye, probably 1 millimeter. What that is in inches, I have no idea. To me, I'm not sure if you could pick it up because I'm just having my tie mic here now, so I don't have a mic on those on the amp. But to my ears now, there's a clear difference, and it's more pleasing. All right, and I will try and do the same for the bridge. Because it's already has a higher output to my ears. I'll just take this down a bit and. So here's the neck. And the bridge. Already now it feels very good to play. The small truss rod adjustment did just the trick, and lowering this now gave me a so much better action. Feels very even and nice. I'll sand down the neck a bit, and I'll get hold of some shellac to make a thin finish on the neck, because there is something with this neck that is not quite there yet. I discovered that one of the frets here needed tending to. When I played it, you could hear it, that it was fretting out, meaning that one of the frets are a bit higher than the rest. And the way to figure it out accurately is by using one of these. This is a fret rocker. It has different lengths because the width of the frets will be more narrow the longer up the neck you get. So so you just use it like this and you rock it. So I can't make it rock here because it's even, so just move on up. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, here. If maybe you can hear this. It's a very slight difference here, but it rocks. So I've already marked the suspect with the red because I knew it was the one when I played it. So and this one confirms that that I was right. And if I move on up, there's no, and you see here now I start it reaches over 4 frets, and that is not, you can't use it like that, so I need to find the shorter edge. And there you go. Sounds good. So I think all the other frets are good. So now I need to go even shorter here too. Yeah. Okay, so it is just that one fret I need to correct, and the way I'll do that, you have to make it go deeper. So I will use my rubberhead hammer. I will make sure that I have good support underneath the fret where I'm hammering, and I will just so I will check again with the fret rocker to see if it helped. There's a slight one more. Feels like it's a bit high up here still. So let's see if I can try again with check again with the fret rocker. And it's perfect. And I'm also checking the nearbys now to see if something has changed, but no, it seems very good. And while I'm at it, I'm going to use this stuff. This is polishing for chrome parts. I picked that up from a guitar luthier who recommended this one. But this stuff, I will polish them because I suspect that I haven't been good enough with the work I did initially with these frets. They feel really smooth, but when I play it, I feel like there is a kind of metallic sound to it that hasn't been present with this guitar before. So I will try and see if this might help get them even smoother. And I also have this aid here. So it's very helpful to avoid putting something on the fretboard that I don't want. So if I'm in luck, I won't need to use a tape to cover up all the frets. I also have these things that are also fret rubbers. They are kind of, feels a bit like a school rubber razor, but they are also for an easy way of polishing your frets. So they have a bit of grit to them. I'll use these first. I'm not sure what yeah, there's the one, there's the luthier, Crimson Guitars. Check him out. That's where I got these as well. So they feel like they have different density. This one is very hard, and this one seems to be the softest one of these three. So maybe I'll start with this one then. Maybe the coarsest grains in this then. Okay, so I'm ready with the polishing, and I will use this magic device for protecting the fretboard. And I will start with this. Okay, done with the red one. I'll continue with this blue. And then I see that it leaves a bit of residue on the fretboard, so I need to clean it up afterwards. I would recommend you to cover your fretboard with some tape if you plan to do this yourself, because I see that I would have avoided having to clean the fretboard now afterwards. So this seems to be a bit harder. So I'm using the harder one now afterwards, because I imagine that this is more finer grains and will be the right order to do stuff in. Coarser grains first, and then these finer grains to smoothen things more out. I would be surprised if this treatment doesn't help. I'm down to the last one of these rubbers, as I call them. This is marked F. The other ones don't have a marking, so I don't know why he has marked just one of them. Well, okay. It's F, and maybe that stands for final, because this is the hardest one of them and has the finest grit. So I will use this now lastly. Sticky thing that has come all over the board now, so I have a cleaning process to do. So I'll use this magical compound now, the metal polish, to as the last thing I'll do for the frets before I clean them. Yes, so I'm going to use this steel wool now to clean up this. It seems to work fine. It looks good, so, and it feels smooth and well, so it must be doing good stuff. Okay, so I'm left with the most satisfactory task, and that is to put some of this Axwax onto the fretboard. So I'm putting some on this good cloth. It's cloth from Big Bands. This has been with me for many years, so it's a very high quality cloth. So I'm just using it for polishing the fretboard. Looks so good. Smells even better. And as I live in Norway and we are in October now, we are going into the cold months of the year, and we'll start to put on electrical heating, meaning that the humidity in the room where I keep my guitars will go drastically down. So it's very important to keep the fretboards on my guitars humid, and I usually put them in my guitar cases now with a humidifier also to keep them in a controlled environment. It looks awesome, but the rest of the guitar is pretty dirty, so I need to clean it. But the fretboard looks quite ace. Yeah, I think the frets are very smooth and nice now. For the rest of the guitar I will use this stuff, and it will also remove some of the static electricity. So if you experience that your guitar crackles when you put your hand over the body or a pickguard like this, that could be due to static electricity, or even that it needs better shielding inside the cavity here underneath. So you could put some copper foil or make sure that all your grounding is correct. But this stuff is very good for both taking some of that static electricity away, but also it cleans it very well. Here, and time to restring her. Yeah,